Guys, I do a face reveal. I take a week-long vacation for a wedding, and then I come back to Shoma Uno announcing his retirement, which I still cannot wrap my head around. Like, what do you mean? Just last season, he was the man to beat. Just last season. And now, I don't know if it is the rising of the stars with Adam Shauhinfa and Ilya Malinin kind of taking the stranglehold of men's figure skating. To me, he's still arguably the man of the season, even though he hasn't been doing well this particular season. It has been long enough since he started doing bad, and all of a sudden he just announced his retirement.
The event this season has not won one and hasn't looked as dominant as in previous seasons. Any reason for that?
He's been up there a long time. You know, it's hard to stay great for a long period of time for any number of reasons, but he's still there.
It's insane. But before I start rambling on and say all my opinions on this, let's read the official statement that Shoma Uno posted on his own personal Instagram. He says, "Hello everyone, this is Shoma Uno. I have decided to retire from my active career as an athlete. Thank you very much to everyone who has supported me as a competitor until today, and to everyone who has continued to support me. Meeting skating at the age of 5 and being able to continue a career for 21 years, I am very grateful for the wonderful competitive life that I've been able to have. I will be holding a retirement press conference on May 14th, where I will talk about my feelings and future activities. The conference will be a broadcast live on Toyota Times, and I will be pleased if you could watch it. Thank you for your continued support, Shoma Uno." So I guess maybe I should have waited for the press conference, but I can't, because my feelings are a lot about this, because I just feel like he is still one of the top skaters and is retiring way earlier than I would have predicted, because the reality is that men's skating careers are just way longer than the ladies, the women's skating careers, because of just the nature of the competitiveness and how long their bodies can hold to stay at that peak competitiveness. The men's discipline hasn't been infantilized as of yet, but there is a lot of newer rising stars. You know, kind of when Yuzuru Hanyu retired. He retired after the 2022 Olympics, which was in Beijing. Ever since then, Shoma Uno was the one. Like, he became automatically the number one man, because he was just always right behind Yuzuru Hanyu. And I feel like I've seen some speculation online that maybe he's lost motivation because he doesn't have his rival behind him to kind of motivate him to keep going. But there are a lot of more rivals now that are younger, and I don't know if that took away motivation from him. I will say I don't love the way that a lot of the articles state his retirement. They feel the need to first talk about mention his accolades throughout his career, but they always put in a phrase, like here by Kyoto News, they say, "He spent much of his career in the shadow of superstar compatriot Yuzuru Hanyu, who was both a friend and a rival on the ice. The pair completed a 1-2 finish for Japan in Pyeongchang, where Yuzuru Hanyu won his second consecutive Olympic gold." Uno said Hanyu's retirement in July of 2022, as well as the departure from the sport of another star contemporary, Beijing Olympic champion Nathan Chen of the United States, had left him less hungry to compete, which I think is kind of the theory now as to why he's retiring, is that he kind of lost his fervor, his hunger for competition. But after those two retired, he was inevitably the man. So you would think it would make him kind of want to embrace and take all the titles, which he kind of did. But now that he did that once, would it make him stop? No, I really don't think so. Shoma Uno is a competitive person. He's been doing this since he was 5. He's only 26 years old. He's so young in terms of the men's career, even though he's had such a lengthy figure skating career, because he did start at the age of 5 pretty competitively. But I hate that every article has to kind of put him and Yuzuru Hanyu in the same sentence when talking about his retirement. Even the Olympic website says Shoma Uno announces retirement from competitive figure skating. The 3-time Olympic medalist, his accolades, and the 2-time world champion, more accolades, calls its career at the age of 26. He exits as arguably the most successful Japanese men's skater behind Yuzuru Hanyu. Like, I get it, Yuzuru Hanyu pulls clicks, but why do we have to talk about the fact that he was always second fiddle, always runner-up for the majority of his career? Can we talk about how crazy it is that right now, when he is probably still very much in contention for number 1, he decided to retire? I don't know if Ilya Malinin with his quad axel and Adam Shauhinfa with his technique and everything, but Shoma Uno still, to me, is the most consistent, most beautiful technique, best execution. Like, Shoma Uno to me is still number 1. Even though his ranking might not be the same, he is still number one in terms of just the complete package. Adam Shauhinfa could be that, but hasn't earned that consistency yet. And Ilya Malin has a long way to go for his performance skills. So I'm just kind of baffled, and maybe he'll talk about it more in the press conference, even though I think it's just going to be a promotion towards his future activities, kind of like Yuzuru Hanyu did a special. Maybe Shoma Uno will do a special, a one-man show. Obviously, he's going to keep doing more performance and galas and just ice dance shows in Japan and around the world. But him completely retiring professionally has taken the world aback. I am shocked. I don't know about you, but I am shooketh. And yes, he finished fourth at this World Championship in Montreal, where he was trying to get his third title as world champion. But him finishing fourth to retirement after being world champion twice over is a drastic change. So as much as I would like to speculate on the why, I don't think we can. I think we need to wait for the press conference, and I do think he is going to mention that he just kind of lost his competitive edge, because for so long it was him and Yuzuru going back and forth. Even though it wasn't that much of back and forth, it was more Yuzuru 1, Shoma Uno 2, but that's why I would think he would embrace now to be 1, 1, 1. And now that he has competitors he can very easily beat if he has a good day. I don't know if it's because he just wants a change of pace in life. It has shocked me. I don't know. Let's read this article that frames him in the shadow of Yuzuru Hanyu, because it tells a little bit more about his career. Japan's Shoma Uno is a two-time men figure skating Olympic medalist, back-to-back world champion, and he announced his retirement from competition via social media just this week. A six-time Japanese national champion, Shoma Uno won the individual men's silver at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics and bronze in Beijing 2022. He also won team silver with Japan in 2022. After finishing fourth at the March World Championship in Montreal, he was bidding for a third straight title. The 26-year-old revealed he had been struggling to find motivation over the past 2 seasons. Uno made the announcement on Instagram, and then they read the announcement. He says, the Nagoya native took up the sport after visiting a rink in the city and receiving encouragement from the former women's world champion, a local heroine, Mao Asada. He spent much of his career in the shadow of superstar compatriot Yuzuru Hanyu, which I hate that they keep bringing up. Uno said that Hanyu's retirement in July, as well as the departure of the sport from Nathan Chen, had left him less hungry to compete. Maybe it's my age or Nathan or Yuzu's influence, but I wasn't able to feel strongly like I wanted to win, Uno said after the World Championship in March. Hanyu said in a statement that he felt very lucky and happy that he could compete with Uno on a global stage. Going forward, I hope you can imagine many forms of happiness for your future and that you're able to realize them, he said. The Japan Skating Federation said fans were enchanted by Uno's awe-inspiring performances that boasted the sport's popularity in Japan. We appreciate his contributions to the promotion of figure skating and the advancement of its culture. And I can't take this, because again, we're losing another star. It's so hard to have consistent stars in figure skating. There's just not that many skaters that last season after season at a high competitive level. Shoma Uno is one of those few that was still there in the old times of figure skating, which I'm sure for you are still the newer times of figure skating. But to me, the old times of figure skating is when Yuzuru Hanyu was winning everything back in 2017, and Evgenia Medvedeva was winning everything back in 2015, and Shoma Uno was there. Like, he bridged the gap for me. And now that he's retiring, I'm kind of left with all these newer faces that have kind of yet to fully cement their name into the history of figure skating. Shoma Uno is a fixture. He is an icon already in Japan. He is a 6-time Japanese national champion. You can't put a price on that, a name on that. I don't know. It's affected me in a more emotional way than I thought it would, because it kind of marks the end of an era where now truly no people from the generation where I started watching figure skating back in 2018 are kind of left. Gabi and Guillaume are gone, Tessa and Scott are gone, Evgenia Medvedeva, Alina Sagitova. I mean, all the Russian girls are basically gone at this point, and we don't know if they're going to be allowed again. And Shoma Uno was kind of one of the last few fixtures of that time. Yuzuru Hanyu's retired as well. It makes me sad, and I am confused, and I will be watching that press conference because I want to know if he gives a little bit more insight, although it seems after that 4th place finish in Montreal that he is kind of pinpointing it in him losing his hunger for competitiveness. But to me, it sounds like he just wants a lifestyle change. Like he said, even though he's only 26, he's been at it for 21 years. And the fact that he was brought up by such iconic figures like Mao Asada and Yuzuru Hanyu. I mean, I'll insert the clip of little baby Shoma Uno with Yuzuru Hanyu. It's so cute. It truly felt like passing the baton, and it doesn't feel like Shoma Uno has passed the baton yet. That's why I think it's so shocking. It feels like he's still holding the baton in terms of Japanese men's figure skating. And now I can think of, besides Yuma Kageyama, I can't really think of anyone else who's kind of the one who's going to receive the baton. He hasn't passed the baton yet. And Yuma Kageyama is in line for that Japanese throne in terms of being the best male men's figure skater, but it doesn't feel like his time is over yet. His current coach, or I guess now former coach, has also put out a statement on Instagram saying, "Dear Shoma, congratulations on your retirement announcement and the phenomenal competitive skating career you have built over 21 years. I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to support you and witness your skills, your focus, your hard work, your winning spirit, your passion, your determination, your love for the sport, and all the other amazing qualities you have demonstrated. You have inspired me so much, and I am deeply grateful for all that I have learned by your side. Enjoy the next steps with confidence and pride, and know that I will always be rooting for you. See you soon, Stefan." And there is a lot to say for Stefan's kind of coaching of Shoma Uno, because before that, he was my chaotic baby. I don't know if you guys remember that era where I just called Shoma Uno my chaotic baby, because he would always go up and down, very Adam Schauenfast style right now, where the consistency was just not there. When he was good, he was the best, but when he was good wasn't always. It was inconsistent enough that he could never reach the heights which we knew he was destined for. And honestly, he went through so many coaches. He was, I believe, coachless at some point. And it wasn't until he landed with Stefan Lambiel, who was at that point a very unexperienced coach, but of course a very experienced skater. He came up in figure skating, was one of the best during his peak moments, competing against, I believe, Plushenko and Yuzuru Hanyu. Like, he went through the phases of the different top men and still got to great lengths and great heights as a skater. So when he became a coach and started coaching, I believe Dennis is his name, and the other few coaches, he didn't really have anybody that was high profile until Shoma Uno. And people were like, is this going to be a combination? Like, Stefan wasn't consistent during his time. Neither is Shoma Uno. How is this going to make him more consistent? And lo and behold, it did. It gave Shoma finally a safe place, a rock, a consistency in his coaching where he could always come back to, and a consistency in his skating, which was unheard of at the time for Shoma Uno. And like I said, I love it when older stars come back into the sport as coaches and genuinely help the younger stars. And Shoma Uno wasn't even that much of a younger rising star. He was an established star at that point, but still needed a helping hand from someone a little bit more experienced, which turned out to be Stefan Lambiel. And their partnership, I think, unarguably, is the most success that Shoma has had. And Stefan is now losing his top skater as well, so I'm sure this is really hard for him as well. But I'm glad that they found each other, because it put them both, their partnership put their best foot forward. It showed that Stefan could be that coach at such a high level with that much of a talented skater and win all these titles and have a skater who can, because he really did help Shoma Uno. He might have not trained him and given him his technique, but he gave him his confidence and consistency, which arguably is exactly what he needed, and maybe even more important than the foundation, because the foundation was already there. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can create a skater of his own that he can coach from the beginning, from the ground up, or if he's going to be more of a final phase coach as he was with Shoma Uno, someone who already has all the tools but just needs kind of the routine to be put in place for those tools to excel at their best, which is what Shoma Uno needed. And so hopefully Stefan Lambiel can still demonstrate his height as a coach and have another high-profile skater, and Shoma Uno can reminisce about the times of Stefan Lambiel as his best, because that's kind of how I see them. Another person who expressed or commented about the situation about Shoma Uno retiring is his next in line heir to the Japanese best man throne, is Yuma Kageyama, who is now inarguably the best Japanese skater for the men's. He put on his personal Instagram saying, "Shoma Uno has been a person I have admired and respected since my junior days. Initially, I was amazed by his expressiveness in skating. After I decided to enter Chuukyu University, I had more opportunities to practice with Uno and was overwhelmed by his sessions, which gave me a lot of motivation and made me want to work harder. I am very sad that he's retiring from active competition, but I'll support the path he chooses from now on. Thank you for your hard work in your active career." And I really hope that this motivates Yuma Kageyama in a positive way, because as Shoma Uno has stated, once Yuzuru Hanyu, his biggest rival, retired, and Nathan Chen, who was his second biggest rival, retired, he lost the hunger for competitive sport. I hope that his biggest competition in Japan retiring is for him an opportunity that excites him and make him even hungrier to get all those titles, which before he had to battle Shoma Uno for, and Shoma Uno was very much in the way because he was still in peak form. In my opinion, he was still very much in peak form to get those titles. So now that Shoma Uno has this new opportunity where he can literally be the number one Japanese male skater in Japan, which is a huge deal in and of itself because figure skating is just such a big sport in Japan. So the opportunities, the endorsements, it's life-changing for Yuma Kageyama if he takes it and he can put the titles and the accolades behind it to add to the weight of what is definitely an impressive career that's ahead of him. So yeah, so I hope this doesn't make Yuma Kageyama lose motivation, but he's so young that I doubt that would happen. He still has to prove himself. And much like Shoma Uno, he's being helped by Carolina Kostner, a legendary skater from the same-ish era as Stefan Lambiel. And he and her, that partnership has proven to be successful this season, especially for a comeback season as it is for Yuma Kageyama. So I am very excited to see if Yuma Kageyama takes the bull by the horns and takes advantage of this opportunity. And if Shoma Uno decides to retire and after doing some ice dance shows, maybe some solo shows, he starts coaching, I would love to just see him at competitions again. And he has, in my opinion, the best, most beautiful technique that I've ever seen in a man. The way that every movement that Shoma Uno does is musical and lyrical and beautiful is insane. And yeah, I think Shoma Uno will be greatly missed, and I can't believe he's retiring. It's insane. It's crazy. And it marked the end of an era for me because I got into the sport in 2018, but it was kind of the era, like my figure skating era in my head where all the stars were is like 2015 to 2018. That's like the era that I'm obsessed with. And after that, I've been kind of following, and then religiously I followed it post 2020, but he was part of that. He was part of, the Team Topperita versus Team Brian Orser time with the Japanese men kind of taking over everything. And it's going to be interesting for Japan because they're losing a very, very big name, their biggest name right now. They're losing it. And now that might open the door for new faces, new stars. Yuma Kageyama is now set. He must have so much pressure on him, but he has Carolina Kostner by his side. Stefan Lambiel must be, I don't even know. Maybe he does support him because he's also a figure skater and came from that era as well. And maybe a little bit before, he was more like 2010, I would say. But yeah, now I'm just rambling. I wish him nothing but the best. I really do hope we get a solo show a la Yuzuru Hanyu, hopefully on Disney Plus so I can watch it. Because to me, controversial opinion, I think he has the best, prettiest figure skating skills. I don't know how else to say it, including prettier than Yuzuru Hanyu. Like, Shoma Uno has a musicality that can't be taught. And it's so rare for a male figure skater to have that because they don't often focus on the movement, on the dancing, on the, ballet training or whatever training it might be for them to get that. And sometimes people can't learn that. They just have it within them. So now it's going to take away a little bit of the beauty that I kind of only seen with Kevin Amos and Shoma Uno, where they kind of have this innate musicality. And I really hope that Ilya Malinin and Adam Shauhinfa and Yuma Kageyama can kind of get it. Yuma Kageyama is almost there. But yeah, let me know, what do you think this is going to mean for Japan, for the men's discipline as a whole? Is Japan going to lose its title as the number one for men's discipline? I don't think so. Because the reality is that in the US, we only really have Ilya Malinin, and France only has Adam Shauhinfa. We're kind of at this weird place right now where it's kind of like the Javi Fernandez effect, where it's one country has that one skater that is really good. But it's not like there's not a plethora of talent. And I wish we can see that, like Japan. So hopefully continues to be involved in figure skating in some way, whether it be coaching or choreographing or just at ice dance shows. And now that he's gone, it really is kind of a battle between Ilya, Adam, and Yuma, which is going to be very interesting because I love it when it's countries competing against countries like USA, France, and Japan. Who would have freaking thought that combination would have been, the ones to fight for gold? Let me know what you guys think about Shoma Uno. My next video that I'm working on is a video about the toxicity of figure skating because I am almost finished reading the Gracie Gold memoir, and that shit is wild. I mean, the title is Out of Shape, Worth a Loser, a memoir of figure skating fucking up and figuring it out. And girl, she fucked up and figured it out. So wait on that. And who knows what might be the next crazy, when I drop this video, I'm scared. What might be the next crazy headline? Let me know. I love you guys. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok. There's the merch linked down below, the Patreon, which I'm going to be starting to release podcast episode visuals over there. And Also, as always, you can find me on Twitter. That is the easiest way to contact me. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later. As always, shout out to Leslie, Natalia, Timothy, Tori, and V. And I love you guys so much. Mwah. Bye-bye.